All right, welcome everyone. Today, we are diving into something absolutely central to success, that unbreakable link between your personality and your ability to lead. We're going to dig into why knowing who you are is really the first, most crucial step to becoming a better leader. So let's get right into it.
And we're kicking things off with this quote because, wow, it really sets the stage, doesn't it? I mean, just think about that for a second. The core of who you are, it can be the engine that pushes you forward, or it can be the anchor holding you back. This is why understanding your personality isn't just some fluffy self-help thing. It is absolutely essential for your growth.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is personality, really?
The history of the word itself is actually pretty fascinating. Personality comes from the Latin word persona, which meant a mask, like the ones actors used to wear. And that's such a perfect way to think about it. It's this unique mix of our external stuff, how we act, how we talk, and all of our internal stuff, like our thoughts and values. It really is the whole package that makes you, well, you.
Probably the most famous way we talk about personality is through this idea of extroverts versus introverts. And the key thing to get here is that it's not just about being loud or quiet. It's all about energy. It's about how you recharge your batteries. Extroverts, they get their energy from being around people, from social interaction. They often think out loud. But introverts, they recharge by being alone. They prefer to think things through before they speak. And look, neither one is better, but knowing which one you are, knowing how you get your fuel, that's like a superpower. Okay, so we've got a handle on what personality is. The next logical question is, where does it even come from? And that brings us to one of the biggest, oldest debates in all of psychology, nature versus nurture. It really boils down to this, right? Are we born this way or are we made? Is our personality hardwired into our DNA from day one? Or is it something that gets shaped and molded by everything that happens to us? So let's look at the nature side first. This is all about what we inherit, right? The stuff passed down from our parents. And it's not just about, eye color or height. We're talking about things like our baseline intelligence, our natural temperament, are you generally a pretty calm person or more on the anxious side, and even how sensitive you are emotionally. This is the genetic blueprint we start with. But of course, our genes are not the whole story, not even close. That brings us to the nurture side. This is all about our environment, everything that shapes us after we're born. Think about your family, your school, your friends, the culture you grew up in, all of it. These things teach us our values, how to behave. They're constantly shaping the raw genetic material we were given. So, which is it, nature or nurture? Well, the real answer today is it's both. It's not one or the other. In fact, studies suggest that a pretty big chunk of our personality, something like 40 to 60%, is influenced by our genes. So you can think of it like this. Your genetics might give you a range, but it's your environment and your choices that decide exactly where you end up on that spectrum. All right, so now that we have a really solid grasp on personality, let's make a pivot. Let's talk about the other half of this equation, leadership. Because as you're about to see, all great leadership really does start with knowing yourself. First things first, let's get a clear definition on the table. Leadership, it's not about having a fancy title or being the boss. At its core, it's simply the ability to guide, to inspire, and to influence a group of people to work together towards a common goal. It's about getting people motivated and being accountable for the results. But here's the thing, leadership is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. There are tons of different styles. For example, you have an autocratic style where one person calls all the shots, which can actually be great in a crisis. Then there's a democratic style where the whole team chimes in, perfect for brainstorming. And a transformational leader is all about inspiring the team to think bigger. The big takeaway here is that the best leaders are flexible. They know how to pick the right style for the right situation and the right people. And that brings us to the really practical part of all this. We know what leadership is, we know there are different styles. So how do you actually become a good leader? Let's break down the skills you can actually start working on. Great leadership really comes down to a balance of two things, your inner qualities and your outer actions. It's not enough to just have integrity or a vision on the inside. You have to show it on the outside through things like being accountable, being a good communicator, and being empathetic. One without the other just doesn't work. You absolutely need both to be an effective leader. So what can you start doing like today? Here are 4 key steps. Number 1, be a good listener. I mean, really listen, not just waiting for your turn to talk.
2, develop your emotional intelligence. That means understanding your own emotions and being able to recognize them in other people. 3, be punctual. It sounds small, but it shows so much respect and discipline. And number 4, be humble. You can be confident in what you do, but having the humility to listen and learn, that's an incredibly powerful combination for a leader.
Okay, wow, we have covered a lot. So if you're going to take away just a few key things, let this be your cheat sheet. Remember, personality comes from persona, the mask. Extroverts get energy from people, introverts get it from being alone. And maybe the most important point, your personality is a mix of both nature and nurture. It is not set in stone. And that leads me to the final and I think most powerful idea I want to leave you with today. Great leaders are made. They are not born. Leadership isn't some magic treat you either have or you don't. It's a collection of skills. Skills like communication, empathy, accountability. Skills that anyone can learn, practice, and get better at over time.
So, I'll leave you with this question. After everything we've talked about, listening, empathy, being humble, being accountable, what's the one skill you're going to start working on today?